Hello and welcome to the Everything template. In this video, I will present a quick overview of the specific functions within this template. This template is originally created by Spitfire Audio. I have just made a few modifications to suit my own personal preferences. I highly recommend taking a look at Christian Henson's walkthrough video as well. You can find the link in the description box below. If you decide to download this Everything template, then you will also find a link to reference both this video as well as Christian Henson's in the Logic Notes tab. Alrighty, let's get started. When you open Logic, this is what you see. Now if you're not really digging the SpongeBob meme, here's how you can change the image. You'll want to find the Audio Music Apps folder, and in here you should find the Project Templates folder. This is where any Logic templates you create will automatically save to. Right-click on the file and look for Show Package Contents. In here, click Alternatives and 000 and you'll see... anyways, so here's where you can put your image of choice. Just make sure it's a JPG file. I should also note that when you make your own edits to your template and click Save as Template, it will automatically save and look like this as a default. Now let's actually load it up and get into it. And once again, welcome to the Everything template. You'll notice that there is a no output track. As Christian Henson says in his tutorial, it's good saving hygiene to create and select a no output track when saving your project down. Let's take a look at the mixer window. So you'll see the many instruments involved in this template and the many stems for them as well for their articulations. These effects on the verb stem are here just as a guide, not a necessity, and you'll see how everything is routed. Again, I highly suggest watching Christian Henson's video explaining all of this. He goes into great detail and it's very helpful. And moving on, there's the brass instruments, the keys, the percussion, the strings. There's a lot of strings, as you can see. Lots of articulations. One of the edits that I made to this template was I created a bit more of a detailed color scheme within each instrument family. This way I can visually see how things are routed, and if I choose to add another track, instrument, or articulation, it's much easier for me to confirm and adjust the routing as I need to. I've also added a guitar stack, synth stack, vocal stack, and audio and effects stack. And now we're at the print stacks. So all of the tracks from before are bused to different locations but within their respective instrument family stack. Then from there they're bused to the mix out and the master. Here we have a sync pop, also known as a 2-beep, and it sounds like this. Or it sounds like nothing at all because I forgot to fix up my audio settings in this screen recording. This is what it was supposed to sound like. Okay, moving on. Let's take a look at the track header, starting with the winds. Any panning adjustments you can make over here. Remember to turn on the power for the instrument track that you wish to use. You'll notice that most of the instruments in this template are BBC Symphony Orchestra. That is what the template was created for, but feel free to change it up to whatever is in your instrumental library. If you haven't used the permalink feature, it's super helpful. When it's grayed out, it doesn't really change with whatever instruments you select, but as you can see, once you click it, it turns purple and it will change, and that way you don't have 10 windows open at once, or you don't have to keep opening and closing things. It's super nice. If we scroll down further, you'll notice a lot of little green H's. These are basically marks to hide tracks that you're not using. So in this case, what's currently hidden are the tracks that you'd prefer to see in the mixer, not so much in this window. But if you're also not working with some instruments, then it's great to keep those hidden and out of the way. The everything template again is mostly Spitfires, BBC, but there are some other instruments too. There's the labs, logic instruments. There was one thing I wanted to note about the organization of the lab instruments in this template. A lot of the Spitfire lab instruments come with many samples. In this case, with synth pads, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 blah. I've only listed the first within that group in this template. So if I want to use 2, 3, or 4 or whatever, then I need to duplicate the track. That way I get to keep all the same routing settings. And then I just need to rename the track to pad number 2 or whatever I've chosen. Some of the other instruments in this library are from my own contact collection. There's also Vienna's Epic Orchestral Library. I don't really go into Vienna in this video because I'm only using the Epic Orchestral Library here. I don't use the VEP server since I like to mainly work with just Logic and just one window, and that's what works for me. I do, however, have a video that covers using both Logic and VEP together. That is a whole other template, and if you're interested in that, then I'll link it in the description box below. So taking a look at the markers, we've got the pre-roll, the count-in, and the cue start. If you go to File, Project Settings, and then MIDI, this dialog box will pop up. You can click Chase. This is just something that I wanted to show. It's already set up. Essentially, what these settings mean is that if you choose to play your session from anywhere in the middle of, say, one whole note, it will play from the middle of that whole note. It won't need you to reset and go back to the beginning of that note. It'll take in all that MIDI information and sound so that you can hear it, and you can actually hear what your whole entire session sounds like just from that point in time. Another neat trick is the track zoom feature. So I can click on whatever track and it'll zoom into it. So that way I can see what track I'm actually working on, and visually it's so much easier when you've got a whole Logic session with so many tracks. In Christian Hansen's video, you'll see him go over the screen sets. In the Everything template, I've changed the control bar settings, but only for screen set number 1. So that is everything on the Everything template. Being an Everything template, I do use this for all of my composition projects. I find it super efficient to have everything ready and routed to go. Whatever I need is already there, and whatever instruments I do not need, I can simply hide or delete. This template will of course always be a work in progress as I continue to make modifications and evolve with my process of workflow. If you would like to download the Everything template, you can find a link in the description box below. Hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. If you have any questions or helpful suggestions, comment below and I'll do my best to get back to you.